Welcome to the next session of this story, Summer of the Beautiful White Horse. I think we will be able to conclude this story today. Hope you all remember the story, which is the story of two boys, Aram and Murad. They are cousins and they belong to a very uh, special family. What is the name of that family?
Garoglanian.
Exactly. It is the Garoglanian family from the country called Armenia. And we have a whole paragraph which describes the qualities of this Garoglanian family. This Garoglanian family has a lot of peculiarities. The major qualities that they have is that their hallmarks are truth and honor. So this is the major qualities that the tribe has: truth and honesty. So the story tells us that for the past several centuries, they are famous for their truth and honesty, in spite of the fact that they are a very poor tribe. They don't have enough money to even buy food for themselves. So usually, what happens when people are very poor? That is when they begin stealing. It is then they become. So thieves are not made because of some bad quality. Usually thieves are made, usually people start stealing when they have very little food to eat, when they have difficulties in their family. That is how thieves are born, thieves are created. But this family is so special because even because they were very poor, even though they were very poor, they were never into thieves. They did not become thieves. They decided that they will never become thieves. So that is why everybody had a lot of regard, respect for this family. And this family had these two children, these cousins, Aram and Murad. And when the story begins, we find that Murad comes to Aram's house and he tells Aram that if you want to ride, you can come. And Aram is sleeping. He wakes up early morning at 4 o'clock and he sees that Murad is sitting on a beautiful white horse. So he's very much surprised. So that is when we understand about the qualities of this tribe. That he is surprised because he doesn't know where Murad got this horse. And he asks Murad, "Where did you steal this horse?" Murad doesn't answer. He says, "If you want to ride, come with me." So Aram quickly gets ready. He jumps into his clothes and he gets out of the window because he doesn't want the other family members to be woken up. So he gets out of the window, joins Murad on the horse, and they go riding into the country. And as they go riding, after riding for some time, they cousin Murad asks Aram to get down, and he rides the horse alone. Then Aram also has a desire to ride the horse. So he tells Murad, "Will you allow me to ride the horse?" So Murad says, "I will allow. I don't know. I can allow you, but I don't know whether the horse will allow you to ride." So Aram gets onto the horse, but after riding for some time, the horse drops him off, and the horse goes away. So after some search, they find the horse, and Aram and Murad return with the horse. I think that is where we stop. And he asks him, Aram asks Murad, "How long ago did you steal this horse?" So Murad tells him, "Not until this morning." But about stealing, he doesn't say anything. He gets very angry. He says, "Who said anything about stealing a horse?" So then he reverts the question. He, uh, he says, so this is the passage where we read. how long ago did you steal this horse? This question is reworded by Aram. He puts it differently again. He asks him, how long ago did you begin riding every morning? He reverts this question. Question on the Machi Chodhi. Only then he gets an answer from Murad. And then he says, not until this morning. So he asks him, if you are telling the truth, are you telling the truth? So he says, no, of course not. I'm not telling the truth. But this is what you should tell people if they ask you, where did you get this horse? So that is what he tells him. Okay. That is where we stopped in the previous class. And he says, I don't want both of us to be liars. All you know that we started riding this morning. So he says, all right. And they take the horse somewhere. So that is where we stopped. If Harida is there, Harida, you can read the next paragraph. He walked the horse quietly. Paragraph. This one. Please read that, Harida.
He walked the horse quietly to the bottom of the deserted vineyard, which at one time he had the pride of a farmer named Fetian. There were some oats and dry alfalfa in the barn. We began walking home. It was not easy, he said. He get the horse to behave no nicely. At first he wanted to run wild, but as I have told you, I have a way with a horse. I can get it to want to do anything. I want it to do. Horses understand me.
Yes, he walked the horse quietly means he made the horse walk to the barn. Barn is a kind of stable, a place where grains are stored. ധാന്യങ്ങൾ സൂക്ഷിക്കുന്ന സ്ഥലമാണ് barn. So he takes the horse to the barn of a deserted vineyard. ഒഴിഞ്ഞ സ്ഥലം, deserted ഒഴിഞ്ഞ സ്ഥലം. Vineyard is a place where you have orchards of grapes, മുന്തിരിത്തോട്ടം, which at one time I had been the pride of a farmer. That is, it was a very big vineyard, but now it is not a very big vineyard. That's why he says it was one time the pride of a farmer called Fetwaya. That's the name of the farmer. And in that barn, ധാന്യങ്ങൾ സൂക്ഷിക്കുന്ന സ്ഥലമാണ്. So there were some oats and dry alfalfa. Oats നമുക്കറിയുന്ന ധാന്യമാണ്. Dry alfalfa. Alfalfa is a kind of grain which is usually fed to horses. കുതിരയൊക്കെ കൊടുക്കുന്ന ഒരു ധാന്യമാണ്. നമ്മുടെ മുതിര പോലെ ഒരു ധാന്യമാണ് alfalfa. So these are the grains that he found in the barn. So after putting the horse in the barn, they start walking home. So then Murad tells Aram of his experience with the horse. Aram had asked him, did you start riding only this morning? So Murad said, no, I have been riding the horse for some time. That is what he understands. Initially he said, yes, just this morning. Then Aram asked him, are you telling the truth? And he says, no, which means Murad has been riding the horse for a very long time. But only this morning he came to Aram. അപ്പൊ അതുവരെ ആരാമിന് അറിയില്ല മുറാദ് എത്ര നാളും കുതിരെ ഓടിച്ചിരുന്നു എന്നുള്ളത്. Only this morning he came to Aram. Why did he go to Aram? Because he knew that Aram had a great desire to ride horses. ആരാമിന് വലിയ ആഗ്രഹം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു എന്ന് അറിയാമേ. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഇന്ന് രാവിലെ അയാൾ ആരാമിന്റെ വീട്ടിലേക്ക് വന്നത്. പക്ഷെ മൊറാദ് കുറെ നാളായി കുതിരയെ ഓടിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കും. So he starts narrating how it was, how difficult it was to get the horse to behave so nicely. So it is because of experience that Murad is able to ride the horse very well, while Aram is not able to ride the horse. When Aram gets on the horse, what did the horse do? The horse threw him away and went on its way. Why? Because Murad is a very experienced rider. Aram is a new person. That is the only reason that Aram was not able to ride the horse. So Murad explains it wasn't easy to get the horse to behave so nicely. It wanted to run wild. Run wild means to run in all directions. It will not obey our instructions. When something or somebody doesn't obey, they run wild. So as I have told you, I have a way with a horse. So this is a phrase. This I have a way with a horse is a phrase that he is very fond of. I have a way എന്ന് എന്ത് പറയുമ്പോഴും പറയും മുറാദ്. I have a way with a horse. ഹോഴ്സിന്റെ കാര്യമാണെങ്കിൽ ഹോഴ്സ്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആൾക്കാരുടെ കൂടെയാണെങ്കിൽ I have a way with people എന്ന് പറയും. So this is a quality that he has inherited from Uncle Khosrow. Uncle Khosrow also has a standard phrase which he uses very often. You remember that phrase that Uncle Khosrow repeats? If you take up the qualities of Uncle Khosrow described in the story, you'll remember that Uncle Khosrow always said, "It is no harm, pay no attention to it." This is a phrase that he repeated very often. It is no harm, pay no attention to it. So this he kept repeating at every moment. And you remember that Uncle Khosrow was once sitting in the barber shop. He was trimming his mustache. His son Arak came and told him, "Father, our house is on fire." And he asked the child to keep quiet. And he said, "It is no harm, pay no attention to it." The usual phrase which he uses with everybody, he uses with his son also. Then the barber says, he's saying, "Your house is on fire." Even when his own house was on fire, Uncle Khosrow was not bothered. He said, "It's no harm, pay no attention to it." Similarly, a new phrase is used by Murad. This phrase is used by him every time he talks to somebody. So this is the phrase that he uses, "I have a way." So when it is with a horse, he says, "I have a way with a horse." I can get it to want to do anything I want it to do. ഞാൻ എന്ത് പറഞ്ഞാലും കുതിര കേൾക്കും. Horses understand me. കുതിരയ്ക്ക് ഞാൻ പറയുന്നത് മനസ്സിലാവും. Because he has a special ability. That is what he says. Horses understand me. So then Aram asks, "How do you do it?" So this is the way you can elicit information. You ask people to tell you something. How do you do it? എങ്ങനെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് പറ്റുന്നു? അങ്ങനെ ചോദിക്കുമ്പോൾ ആൾക്കാർ പറയും.
അങ്ങനെയല്ല സാറിന് എക്സ്പ്രഷൻ നേരിട്ട് കണ്ടാലും ക്ലാസ്സിനെ ശ്രദ്ധിക്കണം. ഇവിടെ വന്ന് നോക്കി
ഹൗ ഡു യു ഡു ഇറ്റ് എന്ന് നിനക്ക് എവിടുന്നാണ് കുതിരയെ കിട്ടിയത്, നീ എവിടുന്നാണ് കട്ടതെന്നൊക്കെ ചോദിച്ചാൽ മറുപടി പറയില്ല. ബട്ട് ഇഫ് യു ആസ്ക് ഹിം, എങ്ങനെ നിനക്ക് പറ്റി, എങ്ങനെ നീ കുതിരയെ ഓടിച്ചു എന്നൊക്കെ ചോദിക്കുമ്പോൾ യു ആർ ആക്ച്വലി മോട്ടിവേറ്റിംഗ് ദാറ്റ് person to speak. You are asking them to tell you something. So this is a way to elicit information. So Aram is slowly understanding how to deal with Murad also. So then he starts talking. So that is the next paragraph. How do you do it? Somebody else can read. Alina is there? Alina, please read the next paragraph. How do you do it?
How do you do it? I said. I have an understanding with a horse, he said. Yes, but what sort of an understanding? I said. A simple and honest one, he said. Well, I said, I wish I knew how to reach an understanding like that with a horse. You are still a small boy, he said. When you get to be 13, you will know how to do it. I went home and ate a hearty breakfast.
Okay. How do you do it? എങ്ങനെ സാധിക്കുന്നു? So he's making Murad speak. It is like praising Murad. എങ്ങനെ നിനക്ക് പറ്റി? എനിക്ക് പറ്റിയില്ലോ. എങ്ങനെ പറ്റി? So he is trying to motivate Murad to speak, and Murad then speaks. He says, "I have an understanding with a horse." What sort of an understanding is that? he says it's a very simple thing. It's a very simple and honest one. We have a good relationship with people. Then they obey whatever we tell them. Like that, with a horse also, I have a very simple and honest relationship with which the horse obeys whatever I say. So Aram says, I also want to reach such an understanding with the horse. Then Murad says, you are a small boy. You know the age difference between Aram and Murad. Aram is how old is he? Aram is 11 years old.
13.
And Murad is 13, isn't it? Murad is 13. That's why he says, when you get to be 13, you will know how to do it. Aram is just 11. It's just 2 years difference between these two boys. But he says, you are still a small boy. Just 2 years difference. So like, even if it is a 1 year difference, people will tend to think that they are very superior. So he says, you are just a small boy. He said, when you get to be 13, you will know how to do it. It is as if 13 is a kind of benchmark to achieve maturity. അത് ഈ സ്കൂളിലൊക്കെ പറയുമ്പോൾ 5ാം ക്ലാസ്സിൽ പഠിക്കുന്ന കുട്ടി 4ാം ക്ലാസ്സിൽ പഠിക്കുന്ന കുട്ടിയോട് പറയും, നീ 5ലേക്ക് വാ, അപ്പൊ അറിയാം അതിന്റെ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ട്. So as if they are the highest point of knowledge, of maturity, etc. So he says, you will understand all these things only when you become 13. So what is Murad trying to do? Murad is trying to grow respect for himself. He is trying to derive respect for himself from Aram. So he says, when you become 13 years old, then you will understand how to develop an understanding with others. So after this conversation, they both go home. That's where we stop. Okay. Now we come back to a narration of Uncle Khosrow. Uncle Khosrow comes to the house of Aram. That is the next thing. Will I ask to speak? Okay, Hima.
Yes.
That afternoon,
My uncle Khosrow came to our house for coffee and cigarettes. He sat in the parlor.
പാർലർ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ദി സിറ്റിംഗ് റൂം. കയറി വരുമ്പോൾ ഇരിക്കുന്ന സ്ഥലമാണ് പാർലർ. നമ്മള് ഡ്രോയിങ് റൂം എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുന്ന പോലെ കയറി വരുന്ന മുറി.
Sitting and smoking and remembering the old country. Then another visitor arrived, a farmer named John Byro, and Assyrian who, out of loneliness, had learned to speak Armenian. My mother brought the lonely visitor coffee and tobacco, and he rolled a cigarette and sipped and smoked, and then at last, sighing sadly, he had my white horse which was stolen last month is still gone. I cannot understand it.
Yes. So in that afternoon, Uncle Khosrow comes to the house of Aram, and he smokes cigarettes and also has coffee, and he remembers the old country. So he's becoming nostalgic. It is nostalgia, remembering with the past with a lot of wishful thinking is nostalgia. So he remembers that country with a lot of lost feelings. He had learned to speak Armenian. Who has learned to speak Armenian? John Byro has learned to speak Armenian. So he speaks Armenian. Who speaks Armenian? The visitor who has come there. Who is the visitor who has come there? It is John Byro. He is an Assyrian. Assyrian എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ a person from Assyria. It is a nearby country. Armenia, Assyria എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുന്നത് നമ്മൾ ഫസ്റ്റ് ഡേ മാപ്പ് കണ്ടില്ല. Armenia, Assyria, they are all nearby nations. Assyria shares borders with Armenia. And he is an Assyrian who has come from Assyria very long back. But after coming here, he has started speaking Armenian. He had learned to speak Armenian. So that is John Byro. He has started speaking. He has come and he starts talking to the family members. He had learned to speak Armenian. His mother brought this lonely visitor coffee. He's brought coffee because Uncle Khosrow was there, so she also brings coffee to this new visitor, John Byrow. He starts talking, and he starts sipping the oh, there are so many drawings there. So he started sipping the coffee, and he starts sighing sadly. Sighing is Dirghanishwasam mutalana. Sighing, S-I-G-H, sigh. Dirghanishwasam when we are sad, when something is beyond our control, that is when we sigh. So he sighs sadly. My white horse, which was stolen last month, is still gone. I cannot understand it. So that is what he says. My white horse, which was stolen last month, is still gone. I cannot understand it. So now we get the answer to the question asked by Aram. Aram chodicha chodyathinte marupadi. Aram endu chodyana choദിച്ചത്? How long ago did you steal this horse? രണ്ട് ചോദ്യം ചോദിച്ചു. ആദ്യം ചോദിച്ചത് where did you steal this horse? How long ago did you steal this horse? ഈ രണ്ട് ചോദ്യത്തിനും മൊറാദിന്റെ കയ്യിൽ നിന്ന് മറുപടി കിട്ടിയില്ല. But he has got the answers now from somewhere else, from his own home, where the owner of the horse has come, and he understands that John Byrow is the owner of the horse. He also understands that John Byrow lost the horse 1 month ago, which means the second question of Aram is also answered. What was the second question that Aram asked Morad? Moradinodu ചോദിച്ച രണ്ടാമത്തെ ചോദ്യം എന്താണ്? ആദ്യത്തെ ചോദ്യം, where did you steal this horse? Second question, രണ്ടാമത്തെ question എന്താണ്? How long ago did you steal the horse? So how long ago did he steal the horse? How long ago did Morad steal the horse? 1 month ago. So the answer is there. My white horse, which was stolen last month, that is this 1 month now after he lost this horse, is still gone. I cannot understand it. So he's very sad that his horse is gone. So now Aram understands that Morad has stolen the horse from John Byrow's stable, and he has been using the horse for a month. And how does Uncle Khosrow respond? He is a very irritable person, a person who gets very irritated very fast because he is a crazy man. So he will give the usual statements that he gives to everybody. So we will look at the way conversation. It is a very interesting conversation. Sri Lakshmi. Sri Lakshmi KR. Sri Lakshmi is there? Lakshmi out of phone വെച്ചിട്ട് പോയിരിക്കുകയാണ്. There is Sri Lakshmi. Okay, we'll ask somebody else. Sivya.
My uncle Khosrow became very irritated and shouted, "It's no harm. What is the loss of a horse? Have not we all lost the homeland? What is this crying over a horse? That may be all right for you, a city dealer, to
City
say,
dweller.
John."
നഗരത്തിൽ താമസിക്കുന്ന dwell താമസിക്കുകയാണ്. City dweller നഗരത്തിൽ താമസിക്കുന്ന ആൾ.
city dweller to say, John Byro said. But what of my surrey? What good is a surrey without a horse? Pay no
Saray എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ
attention
ഈ
to it.
ഹോഴ്സിന്റെ മുകളിൽ വെക്കുന്ന ഒരു സീറ്റാണ്. അതിലിരുന്നിട്ടാണ് യാത്ര ചെയ്യുന്നത്. സറേ, കുതിരപ്പുറത്ത് വെക്കുന്ന ഒരു സീറ്റ്.
Pay no attention to it, my uncle Khosrow roared. I walked 10 miles to get here, John Byro said. You have legs, my uncle Khosrow shouted.
So he becomes very irritated. Uncle Khosrow becomes very irritated. He shouts. He is a person who can get very irritated very fast. So he shouts, it's no harm. ഇതാണ് അയാളുടെ സ്റ്റാൻഡേർഡ് ഫ്രേസ് ആണ്. ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് നോ ഹാം. കുറച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് അതും പറയുന്നുണ്ട്, മറ്റേ വാക്കുകളും പറയുന്നുണ്ട്. പേ നോ അറ്റൻഷൻ ടു ഇറ്റ്. ദിസ് ആർ ദി സ്റ്റാൻഡേർഡ് phrases used by Uncle Khosrow. It is no harm. Pay no attention to it. സാരമില്ലാന്ന്. കുതിര പോയി എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ സാരമില്ല. അത് കുതിര പോയത് അയാളുടെ ആണെങ്കിലും അയാൾ അങ്ങനെ പറയുള്ളൂ. ബിക്കോസ് വെൻ ഹിസ് ഓൺ ഹൗസ് വാസ് ഓൺ ഫയർ ഹി ആസ്ക്ഡ് ദ ബോയ് ടു കീപ് ക്വയറ്റ്. വേറൊരാളുടെ ആയതുകൊണ്ടല്ല അങ്ങനെ പറയുന്നത്. He is not bothered generally about anything that happens in the life, not only of others but also of himself. So he is a kind of crazy person. He is not a practical kind of person. He is a very crazy person. So he says it's no harm, pay no attention to it. കുതിര പോയതാണോ അത്ര വലിയ പ്രശ്നം? What is the loss of a horse? Haven't we all lost our homeland? നമ്മുടെ നാട് തന്നെ നഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടു. മറ്റു വേറുള്ളവർ വന്ന് കീഴടക്കിയിട്ട് നാട് തന്നെ നഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടു. വാട്ട് ഇസ് ദിസ് ക്രൈങ് ഓവർ എ ഹോഴ്സ്? നാണമില്ലേ ഒരു കുതിരയുടെ കാര്യം പറഞ്ഞ കാര്യം? സോ ഈ സേസ് it may be all right for you. You live in the city, you don't need a horse. But what of my saray? I have a seat of the horse. What will I do with it if the horse is not there? So he says, Uncle Khosrow says, pay no attention to it. I walked, kudira illathu kondu, I walked 10 miles to come here. So Uncle Khosrow says, you have legs? കാലുണ്ടല്ലോ, പിന്നെ നടന്നാ എന്താ? So he responds angrily and not sympathetically to every statement that John Byro makes. So he says, you have legs? My Uncle Khosrow said. Shidhar.
Okay, sir. My left leg pains me, the farmer said. Pay no attention to it. My uncle Khosrow roared. That horse cost me $60, the farmer said. I spit on money, my uncle Khosrow said. He got up and stalked out of the house, slamming
Stalking
the
means to
screen
walk
door.
angrily. Stalk means to walk out angrily.
My mother explained, he has a gentle heart. He said, it is simply that he is homesick and such a large man. The farmer went away and I ran over to my cousin Murad's house.
So Uncle Khosrow does not offer any sympathetic response to any of the statements that are made by John Byro. John Byro says, I lost my horse. Uncle Khosrow says, it is no harm, pay no attention to it. Then he says that I have a saray, the horse is gone, what will I do with my saray? He says, no, pay no attention to it. He says, I walked 10 miles. He says, you have legs? Then he says, my leg pains me. Then he says, pay no attention to it. That I bought the horse for $60, $60 കൊടുത്തു വാങ്ങിയ കുതിരയാണ്. He says, I spit പൈസയുടെ കാര്യമൊക്കെ പറയുന്നത്. I spit on money. What is the worth of money? Do we live for money? Can we take money when we go after we die? So he says, I spit on money. Spit to poor. I spit on money, Uncle Khosrow said. So he got up. John Byro got up and walked out angrily, slamming the screen door. The door was very angry because he doesn't get any sympathy from Uncle Khosrow. So he has a gentle heart, she said. It is simply that he is homesick and such a large man. So Uncle Khosrow gets up and walks out of the house. He gets very angry because of the statements made by John Byro. John Byroയുടെ കരച്ചിൽ കേട്ടിട്ട് ഇയാൾക്ക് ദേഷ്യം വന്നു. He gets out of the house. And John Byro also goes away later. The farmer went away later. So the first person to get up is John Byro. He gets up very angrily because he can't stand the crying of this farmer about the horse. So he cannot stand it any longer. So he got up and went away. Then mother says, he has a gentle heart. അയാൾക്ക് ആരുടെയും വിഷമം താങ്ങാൻ പറ്റില്ല, അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് അയാൾ ഇങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ റെസ്പോണ്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. Who has a gentle heart? Uncle Khosrow has a gentle heart. That is why he gives such responses to people. അല്ലാതെ അയാൾക്ക് ആളുകളുടെ വിഷമത്തിലൊന്നും ദുഃഖമില്ലാഞ്ഞിട്ടല്ല. He has a gentle heart that he cannot tolerate the problems that are felt by people. Not because he doesn't have any sympathy. He has a gentle heart. It is simply that he is homesick. He is homesick. സ്വന്തം നാടൊക്കെ നഷ്ടപ്പെട്ട ആളാണ്. So that is why he talked about, we lost our homeland. Why are you crying over a horse? So therefore, he is homesick. He thinks about his homeland very often. And he is such a large man. Large not only in the sense of physical largeness. കാണുമ്പോൾ വലിയ മനുഷ്യൻ എന്നുള്ള രീതിയിൽ മാത്രമല്ല. He is really a great man. But he gives such responses to hide his impulse. ചില ആൾക്കാർ ഭയങ്കര ദേഷ്യത്തിൽ സംസാരിക്കും, പക്ഷെ അവരുടെ ഉള്ളിൽ വളരെ സോഫ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഹാർട്ടായിരിക്കും. So mother is explaining the behavior of Uncle Khosrow, that he got out of the house very fast. So probably John Byro also understands. Therefore, the farmer also went away. The farmer here mentioned is John Byro. After some time, John Byro also goes away. And I ran over to my cousin Murad's house. Arana I ran over. ആരാണ്? ആരാമാണ് നറേറ്റർ? ആരാമാണ് ഇതിൽ ഐ, ഈ സ്റ്റോറിയിലുള്ള ഐ? ആരാം റാൻ ഓവർ ടു മൈ കസിൻ. എന്തിനാണ് ഓടിപ്പോവാണ്? കാര്യം ഞാൻ നിന്നോട് ചോദിച്ച ചോദ്യങ്ങൾക്കുള്ള മറുപടിയൊക്കെ എനിക്കിന്ന് കിട്ടി. നീ പറഞ്ഞില്ല, പക്ഷെ എനിക്ക് വേറെ സ്രോതസ്സിൽ നിന്ന് കിട്ടി. So I got it from some others. So he goes to Murad to tell him that I have got the answers to the questions that I asked him. So this is the next encounter with Murad. Aram's next encounter with Murad. ശ്രീലക്ഷ്മി തിരിച്ചു വന്നോ? She has not come. Okay, we will continue in the next session because our time is running out for this session. ഞാൻ അതിൻ്റെ